Hello and welcome to News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti and we're your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Top stories this hour. Police begin investigations into circumstances surrounding the death of 2 employees of Chinese-owned Asomdwie Rubber Company in the Ashanti region.
And also cause of death was not known as at yesterday. So we are also waiting for the police to come up, bring the report from the Komfanochi hospital for us to also ascertain what actually happened to them.
Meanwhile, here in Accra, an 8-year-old girl has been confirmed dead after mother reportedly left her locked in a shop in the Dansoman fire that destroyed over 80 shops. Well, in the bulletin, impact of illegal mining opens door to ruthless exploitation in the central region, where a gallon of borehole water now sells at 5 Ghana cedis.
Yeah, kada wa na yaje ba ko 5 cedis. But oil customer na open asem de otumi ye no miensa 10 cedis. Na je say wa consider no. Ye sure how a omo femu na ye nso ya consider on kakra.
We'll bring you more in our continuing series, Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey. In the bulletin as well, Deputy Clerk to Parliament describes as a blot on Parliament's inability to pass Property Rights of Spouses Bill. As he says, the 9th Parliament will strive to pass it. We have details, plus the leadership of Parliament prepared to go against each other in the conclusion of the 2026 budget debate. We've got these, plus business, sports and showbiz in this package. Do stay for details. I appreciate your company this afternoon. We start the news from the Ashanti region, where investigations are ongoing to unravel circumstances leading to the death of 2 employees of a Chinese-owned Asomdwie Rubber Company. The lifeless bodies of the 2 were found in a parked vehicle near a shoe factory at Atonsu Agogo, a suburb of Kumasi. Their deaths remain shrouded in mystery after they were discovered on the back seat of the vehicle, with the woman's head resting on Baba's environmental health officer at the Asomdwie Municipal Assembly. Stella Gabriel has been recounting the unpleasant scene after the vehicle was discovered.
Around 2 p.m., the Asomdwie police officers came to Asomdwie Municipal Assembly to inform us about a car that had been parked in the Atonsu Agogo shoe factory since last Friday. And in fact, there is an offensive odor emanating from the vehicle that they suspect to be a decomposing body or scent of a decomposing body. And those who lodged the complaint to the police also mentioned that there are flies hovering around the said vehicle. So quickly, we all had to rush to the site. When we got there, all the doors of the car were locked, airtight. So we had to break the driver's side, the glass or the door, the window to the driver's side to be able to get access to the vehicle. So when we opened the car, we realized that there is a body of a gentleman and a young lady. And at the time we went there yesterday, in fact, the bodies had already started decomposing. So it is difficult to identify them very well. Yes. Or properly. So, in fact, we were able to carry out the disinfection of the bodies for the police to, and also the car and the environment. And in fact, after packaging the bodies, they said they were taking it to Komfanochi for post-mortem inspection. But that is all the information that I have for now. Yes. And as at the time we carried out the exercise, the identities of both of them were not known. Yes. And also cause of death was not known as at yesterday. So we are also waiting for the police to come up, bring the report from the Komfanochi hospital for us to also ascertain what actually happened to them. Okay, they were all sitting at the back seats, and the lady's head was on the shoulder of the gentleman. Yes. So, and the gentleman also leaned on one of the doors. Yes. So that was the position. And they were all dressed. I think the gentleman should be maybe in his early 30s, and the lady should also be in her early 20s. Yes.
Emmanuel Barkweku joins us with more on this. Emmanuel, a rather bizarre situation there. Give me a little more details. As of yesterday, the person giving us details in the story says they know the identities of these persons. What more do we know?
All right, so MFA, as of today, we still do not know the identities of the individual, but so far we know for the man, the name they just gave us was Baba. For the female colleague, we do not know her name as of now, because as the environmental health officer for the Asokwa municipality rightly said, when they met them, their bodies had decomposed. Their face, if the pictures that we had earlier, you see that their faces had actually decomposed, so it was quite difficult for you to easily make them out if anybody was to come around and try to identify them. But so far, we've not really had the names of the female colleague who was also caught up in this bizarre scene. In fact, we were hoping that the police would actually give us an information, but as of now, we still haven't officially heard from the police in the Ashanti region. And we must say that this incident actually occurred on Monday. So the incident started, we understand that it was unraveled on Monday, but the actual incident when the car was parked was somewhere on Saturday. We are told by our sources that the two were actually had actually been to one of the weddings of the managers at the company they were working with. And so the female colleague went for an evening shift. And so when she went there, she complained of having some headaches and feeling unwell. So she was told to go back home. And that's when she actually met her colleague, the male, Baba, and they were driving. So they drove to near the shoe factory where the incident happened. And that was when the car was parked. And right from Saturday through to Sunday and then until Monday, the car was still stationed. And so residents around the area were curious to know what really is happening, that a car has been parked for almost 3 days now and nothing really has happened. And also they sensed a foul and offensive smell from them emanating for the car. And that's when they raised the alarm, and they quickly got in the environmental health officers in the Asokwa municipality to come around and check. And that's when they realized that the two of the bodies were in the car that was stationed near the shoe factory. So MFA, so for now, we are still waiting on the police for an official communication as to circumstances that really occurred circumstances leading to this unfortunate incident that has happened at Atonsu Agogo, MFA.
Right, Emmanuel, just quickly. And so we know certainly that they work with this rubber factory. Is that the case?
Yes, we know certainly they work with the rubber factory.
Except we don't know their names. Except we don't know their names.
For the male, we just know of Baba. We don't know the full name, just Baba that we know.
Anything at all from their family members and as well the company they work with?
So far, we've also not had really anything from them as well. We are trying to push them to engage them if they have any information as to their colleagues or their employees that have died, and we'll also give it to you as and when we have it, MFA.
All right, Emmanuel, thank you for reporting on this rather bizarre story from the Ashanti region. Back here in Accra, the Ghana National Fire Service has confirmed the death of an 80-year-old girl after fire gutted wooden structures at Dansoman market. She was trapped inside one of the shops and was burnt to death. In the incident, firefighters spent the night battling the inferno. The fire has since been fully contained. Collins Frimpong was at the scene earlier, and here is his report.
This particular market is an enclosed space, so the Ghana Fire Service has secured the area and has prevented traders and also other people to come in. But what I can see here is that several gas cylinders and also stoves were also in here, that even though the Ghana Fire Service can't really pinpoint what really caused the incident, we could see that gas cylinders and other things that we know they are all inflammable and can also cause fire outbreaks have also been seen here.
I'm finding easy. 11, 12, midnight in the morning. My first at 12 o'clock. Yeah, but cry in your car. Bejina one, the junk can't cry, you be do Dansoman Sonic Junction. Near fat taxi by Metro Yampa. Just say me be a woman, a shop no man fat back kumpo industrial machine 3. Baku yes, paddle industrial machine.
There was nothing in the shop I could salvage. 3 industrial machines and some clothes were all that was left. But I lost everything.
To my kente, just me who the America, Nini Nara, man fat back kumpo, Nini na she. And I'm a loan leader, group loan, me na me dear. Musika da ho. So I share. 1,600. I share. And also the
I'm a group loan leader, and the 1,600 for my group was in there. On top of that, I lost my child security service recruitment document. My
Air Force work, office work here, baby. Fire service or apply for
the recruitment, security service recruitment.
Yes, or apply for intimidating. Any man by year man, my year BBR, you apply with person that want me for coffee and also so ashi.
Pacho, me mada, and how much 12? Me ya pama dear, and I'm a saton to ma. Tell my madam and my brother or by a show so by a night. Why na me who call me young machine to me pick a corner say. Sister,
Brother came here at night to work, only to call and inform me of the fire. Since we arrived this morning, we haven't been able to recover anything. President Mahama should come to our aid.
Yatsana market have so many years, 15 years in Yamatana. Your lifetime, ye be beer, hey, your boy, be beer, back to zero. Taban and boy, yes, rabino. Mama, yes, throw we a mobile watching. Ya bad time. Ya bad time. Oh, we a mobile. Why, yes, Reno. Yes, Reno, one bema bibi.
Many food sellers operate here with kitchens, which explains the gas cylinders scattered around.
Oh, a diane for no work. It's a diane for ne was.
We are Dianeton.
We are dianeton. A diane for ne waha. It's a high on kitchen.
No correct. When your man say, me say phones, me ton phones. And I say phones. And
I repair and sell phones. I was notified around midnight, and by the time I got here, my shop was already engulfed in flames. I couldn't save a single thing.
shop there na Janice gidi and ya there will to me I home bibia into me and to me am fafi pin cry and to me am fa.
The unfortunate incident is that an 8-year-old child has also lost her life in this particular fire outbreak that occurred here. Quick one, let me get your thoughts on that, or brief me on that. Do you have an idea of the child that died here, and where was she that this particular incident happened?
The child actually, as I asked him, mom said he locked him for the shop inside. She went out to go and buy something. So before she came, there's a fire on here, so you can't enter the fire and go and save the kid. So it was 8 years girl, it's a little girl. So this is a place where the band was actually here now. The place where I went in the back. That's a place.
Thank you. So that is the description here. So if you can see within your shots, this is the place that the child lost her life. So according to the eyewitness, the mom locked her inside the shop there and said she was going to get something to buy. When she returned, she realized that the whole place was in flames and she couldn't gain access to the shop to also try and get the baby back.
Meanwhile, Deputy NADMO Director for the Greater Accra region, Nana Edubia, says authorities have begun assessing the full extent of the damage as it prepares to provide some support to the victims.
We can't just tell you anything as we speak because we don't want to say things we are not on top of. We are working with the Ghana Fire Service, we are working with the electricity, we are working with the assembly itself, the police command. So we can, as we stand here, tell you from tomorrow, then we can know the extent of the damage or anything that has gone on so far. So for now, all of us should just calm down. I'm sure you did a live recording. People have seen the extent of the damage and all that. As we sit here, we don't have the technical tools to determine the extent of anything. But like you saw, a lot of shops have gone down. You know, markets, our shops are not that big. They are small, and all that. And like about 80 roughly. And sometimes more because they have the like chamber and hall and that kind of thing. They have a way of doing their own thing.
We've heard that an 8-year-old girl has lost her life. Have you been able to establish contact with her mom? And what really is the situation? What happened?
The mom just left here. They brought her. She came to meet the MP of the area. So she just left. From what I asked the sister, she said that she's a hairdresser there. So I think she left the baby to go and buy something. I call her a baby, 8 years, she's not that old. But whatever happened when she left, we don't know the extent of or the duration of the time she went away and what really happened. But as we speak, we just want to sympathize with them and empathize with whoever is part of the family. It's not easy. I know how it feels like as a mom and all that. When to lose a child, no matter how old they are, what has gone into even their upbringing, it's a loss. And you know, mothers, the attachment with children. She came and she couldn't even stand on her feet. But whatever it is, there's nothing that can be done as we speak. So the police command have taken the body to the police hospital and for further investigations as to whether is the. But from what we've heard so far, it's charred. So it means that she bent over during the time of the fire.
We've seen a lot of people. We've seen the victims, what they are going through at the moment. Nadmo, what are the immediate measures you are putting in place to help them?
Like we speak, the accounts will say, we can't do anything. We've come for the first time from the MP and the other stakeholders. If tomorrow we are meeting again, and from there, NADMO, we are going to assess the situation and see how best we can come in as NADMO to help the victims of the fire.
The Minister in charge of Education, Haruna Idrisu, has revealed that his ministry is finalizing a cabinet memo seeking approval to amend the current presidential charter system to make charter acquisition optional for private universities. This follows persistent concerns raised by managers of private tertiary institutions over what they describe as restrictive and burdensome process. A presidential charter represents the highest level of accreditation for any tertiary institution in Ghana, granting full autonomy to award degrees and certificates. However, many private universities have long argued that the existing framework limits their ability to operate efficiently. Speaking to journalists at a stakeholder engagement on the report of the lawyer Kweku Ansari Committee in Accra, Mr. Idrisu noted that although the committee recommended extending the time frame for obtaining charter to 10 years, the new proposed amendments goes further to strengthen private universities and enhance the overall tertiary education landscape.
I will get a cabinet memo, or probably, given the exigency of time, an executive approval from President John Dramani Mahama to amend Act 1023 of 2020 and to make chartering optional, even though I had earlier pronounced that we'll give a moratorium of 10 years based on the Asari Committee report and its recommendation. We need to recognize what private universities have done in complementing government in expanding access to higher education. Our policy remains emphasis on what I call the ACT, access, relevance, and quality. We'll strengthen oversight using GTEC, the Tertiary Education Commission. Oversight will be strengthened. Quality assurance will be strengthened. There will be no compromise on minimum standards. Thank you.
JoyNews has intercepted a confidential audit by the Ghana Audit Service, revealing how the failure of the Minerals Income Investment Funds Management to monitor its gold trade deal with Gold Ridge Refinery Limited, GRL, caused the state and the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors to lose over 700 million cedis. The office of the Special Prosecutor last month detained CEO of Goldridge, Dr. Sledge Nanaya Ododu, after he failed to meet bail conditions. He is under investigation for suspected corruption and corruption-related offences linked to the MIIF, particularly in the management of its gold trade program. JoyNews' Quentin Nati has been following the investigation and has more in the following report.
According to an audit of the Minerals Income Investment Fund's annual report and financial statements for 2024 by the Ghana Audit Service, the state and the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors incurred gold trade losses amounting to 708,696,569 Ghana cedis. These losses were settled by MIIF on behalf of the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors and Fidelity Bank. The confidential audit report in the possession of JoyNews revealed that MIIF entered into a 5-year gold trade agreement worth $30 million with Goldridge Refinery Limited, GRL. Under the deal, MIIF was expected to earn 15% annual interest. The report further noted that MIIF entered into a parallel agreement with the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, CBOD. Under this agreement, MIIF was to advance cedis to Goldridge to purchase gold, while Goldridge was to provide the chamber with US dollars to buy petroleum products for the Ghanaian market. However, after receiving the cedis, Goldridge failed to deliver the promised dollars. Goldridge attributed the shortfall to foreign exchange losses, but the audit found that the problem resulted from MIIF management's failure to monitor and enforce the contract. The report stated, and I quote, the management's failure to enforce Clause 8 of its agreement with Goldridge, which required the parties to jointly appoint an independent auditor within 14 days of the agreement's execution date to audit the transaction quarterly, and their inability to meticulously monitor, review, and analyze the trade process caused the irregularity. The silence of the Investment Advisory Committee regarding this significant investment decision further contributed to this anomaly, unquote. The former MIIF CEO, Edward Cranton, explained that the Bank of Ghana's insistence on using Bloomberg-made rates for gold trading caused the foreign exchange losses. To plug the financial gap, Mr. Kwartin secured Finance Ministry approval for $40 million, out of which $26.4 million went to the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors to cover part of its losses. The audit further noted that the circumstances surrounding Goldridge's losses to Fidelity Bank and the Chamber suggest that MIIF risks losing its $30 million investment and an accrued interest of $2.4 million. When JoyNews contacted Fidelity Bank, the institution confirmed that it had advanced funds to MIIF in cedis, with the understanding that MIIF would settle the equivalent in foreign exchange within a stipulated period. The bank stated that although MIIF initially failed to meet the deadline, the outstanding amounts were fully settled by December last year. It recommended that MIIF conducted a stress test on the gold trade agreement with Goldridge to determine the current position of the fund's trade capital and accrued interest of $32,489,315.07, or discontinue the program entirely and recover its funds. However, auditors stated that they found no evidence of recovery or remediation efforts as claimed. The Ghana Audit Service has therefore directed MIIF to recover the entire $40.3 million from Goldridge. Should recovery fail, the report recommends that former MIIF board chair Professor Douglas Boatin, former Deputy Finance Minister Alex Ampabin, former MIIF CEO Edward Cranton, and MIIF Chief Investment Officer Bubune Sopo be held accountable. When JoyNews contacted the individuals cited in the report, they declined to comment, citing the ongoing investigation by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. For JoyNews, this is Quentin Nati reporting.
Meanwhile, speaking before the Public Accounts Committee on the 2023 Auditor General's report, acting MIIF CEO Justina Nelson confirmed that all gold trading agreements under the fund have been terminated.
With the coming of the gold board, we needed to be in our mandates, which was given to us by our mother body. So we now have to look at the royalties coming in, ensure that those royalties are given to the state or collected with Bincom and GRA. So that is exactly what is being done. We decided that those aggregators will be ceded off to Gold Board because they are the mother body for them to be able to get the gold coming in and all. And so that has been done. We've written to the aggregators, those contracts that were given to them, where we had some negotiations with them to be able to transition them nicely to gold board. So we are still in the transition stage, but we stopped the gold trade altogether.
Now on to some illegal mining stories. The impact of illegal mining has opened the door to ruthless exploitation in the central region, where a gallon of borehole water now goes for as high as 5 Ghana cedis. With water scarcity deepening after the pollution of the Ayensu and Pra rivers, water has become a commodity controlled by private sellers. Okada riders now double as water couriers, charging desperate households for every gallon they can find. Emmanuel Jivenu has more in today's episode of Dear Mahama, Stop Galamsey.
Emmanuel Ejiri is an Okada rider in Kwenyako. He no longer carries passengers. For weeks, Emmanuel has been riding from town to town, hunting for something as basic as drinking water. The taps at Kwenyako have been dry since the Ayensu River died under the weight of Galamsey pollution. And a new business, water exploitation, has quietly taken its place.
My customer ni enyensu no, ye na enyensu no, me kura me pe bia je se ma pe baby aye far away na makwa sound nsuo. Nti we me customer na frame me say me meji gallons no na me be fill nsuo. Nti me ba beto wa ha ba ko 1 cedis. But me so me kwa na maje me fe na me di nsuo na ama no.
Emmanuel pays 1 cedi per gallon at private boreholes, then adds transport charges for the families who depend on him.
I mean, me the commander, yeah, Okada wa na ye ba ko 5 cedis. But your customer now open Asomdwie, they will to me and me 10 cedis. Na just say what consider no. You sure how I move mu na yen so ya consider on kakra.
The Ayensu River, which feeds the Kwenyako treatment plant, is now thick, brown, and unsafe. And in the absence of clean water, exploitation slipped in quietly. Borehole owners who once gave water freely now sell it. Families with nothing are forced to spend the little they have just to stay alive.
Galamsey for na mo ase nsuo no fi etifi ho no mo na esane aba na afo ha. Ntani ohawa akofa ba yetuto nsuo na ye de bi koma yen customers no.
Across the central region, thousands are living in the same story, but some are cashing in. In Yakrum, Jonas, a tricycle rider, has become a water courier, not because he wants to, but because the crisis has become profitable. He charges more than Emmanuel because the demand is high and the desperation even higher.
Senipana de gallons there. BG 2 cedis. Ubasage 2 cedis. But I know 1, 2 dear member. Be a 10, 15, 20 dear. And before one and a menyeska. And the 1, 2 dear just a wow, Basawadi. Only to a boy for no pese ye hona. Yetum. Boyansu Yankuaso.
For Jonas, scarcity is an opportunity. For his customers, it is misery. Families struggle just to get water, often unsafe, Some walk miles for borehole. Others give up and return to the polluted river that caused the shutdown of the Kwenyako treatment plant. In Setrehiman, just a few meters from the treatment plant, Kofitichi stands by the River Pra, staring at it as if he no longer recognizes it.
First, to see. First, not any fine pa. On any galleys, yes, I know. First, on a pipe of grana, I'm say 1 or 2 penana a wa. Until you soon nearly, you know. We see on the enemy say, Gamsin Namile, Abansa, Numa Fonso, or maybe you had mount some Tomine. Until what I was for the Numa Diano. And now, if so much should be called Fifim. If I say, who sick out with me now, what should be a coffee? Now we buy the watum. Any pure to ya. Nadia, a shouldn't know. It waited ye in Sandom Beam. A Bruna may have to say, and see the banner crown, and any problem can see.
The water crisis is suffocating livelihoods, including that of herbalist Kwame Pentel.
Naminako, almost 7 miles away. My coiffure bow water, one hole, and soon nothing made a baby you may dream. They say, Drum in your crime in fencing, she being a Chisamiko, a village, my copper bone hole. Namadia Bans, and Namadia Ben, you may dream. In fact, Nina Eddie, ye tree, ye know come up for Penimbi and Wayako Bonamania, say, and see sanity. Yes, you need and share you need that's what and say, Abansi. No time is a year, and when I am no yedi bibia pure water. They be no see going to me yen should be free outside uncle or rabbi uncle yen should man be jaria and which is a water a mikra 7 me ma make na my wife can wear 9 and teach a yeto a pure water a pillow no back and I'm wedding I the same better mudi guaro some way in there then not tomorrow in fact easy. The
illegal miners continue to wash away the rivers that feed several districts in the central region. The science is simple. When the river dies, the treatment plant dies. When the treatment plant dies, the community becomes desperate, and in desperation, exploitation thrives.
Still, I wonder what's what to ye nimpa yet you radio so yet say we be opening binidin so ka ho na wo ye na ahemfo no so akwahwe bentum kwasa asibia enye ne dia ho ahemfo na na eden e de ma won nti ye besre mo a wo tum no won bombodian na won kasa nkire won se won won na ye so won jai na ya akwahwe aba no ye den ye so ye ho ntoyem bi.
Dear Mahama, water has become a luxury in the central region, and families are paying the price because they have no other choice. The crisis created by Galamsey has become a marketplace for survival, where a few profit while entire communities drown in water poverty. The people of Kwenyako, Nyakrum, and Setrehiman are not asking for much, just the right to drink clean water without being exploited for it. Until the Galamsey stops, until the rivers recover, until the treatment plants run again, families will continue to live from gallon to gallon. And what should be a basic human right will remain a commodity for those who can afford. Imano Jivenu, JoyNews, Central Region.
You're watching News Today. Please stay for business.
Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to JoyNews Today. That is business on JoyNews Today. My name is James. To have a fresh story, former President John Ejekunkufo says Ghana must urgently strengthen its mentorship and coaching architecture if the country hopes to produce globally competitive leaders. He was speaking at the launch of a national dialogue to establish mentor coaching academy in Ghana.
So former President John Ejekunkufo, stakeholders from academia, development organizations, and leadership institutions gathered for a high-level discussion on a new national initiative one aimed at building a strong mentorship pipeline for the country's youth.
We tend to be so divided on basis of religion, tribe, or gender, and that sort of thing. No. Our youth, I've had occasion to remark that the youth of today are far better educated than earlier generations. They are very smart. They mastered the uses of the new technologies. If you're talking of digitalization, AI, so forth, they know all these things far better than their fathers. The only thing is, they are so numerous. Unfortunately, the economy of our land hasn't kept pace in terms of development with the population explosion. When I was Deputy Minister of Ghana, the population of Ghana was 10 million, 1969-70. Now, as we speak, the population is pushing towards 40 million.
The British Council, a key partner on the project, says it sees the academy as a pathway to building a more inclusive and competitive workforce.
I think you can all agree with me that coaching and mentoring is fundamental to development of young people. Today, we're all battling the challenge of many young people going through school, not finding jobs. What can we do to ensure that the road that they are treading right now, we link them to people who have gone on that road already, how to provide guidance and ensure that, they don't have to make the same mistakes, the older generation made. That's why mentoring and coaching have become quite critical for this program. And I'm happy that we're here today, looking at that concept.
The Mentor Coaching Academy is expected to be formally launched after consultation are concluded.
Now, Minister of State in charge of sustainability and climate change, Isifu Seidu, has charged heads of businesses and institutions to consider climate and sustainable initiatives as part of their annual financial report to avoid losing out critical funding. According to him, investors are turning away from institutions that have no or low level of initiatives aimed at preserving the environment. The minister was speaking to Joy Business after opening the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana ICAG Sustainability Forum in Accra.
The Sustainability Conference by the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana aims to build capacity of accounting practitioners and members of the Institute on the new standards of reporting on climate change initiatives. The platform was used to engage key stakeholder organizations on performance of the Sustainable Development Goals and various roles to be played in advancing the cause. Giving a keynote address, Minister of State for Climate Change and Sustainability tasked all stakeholders to consider climate change as a critical subject matter in financial reporting. He has been explaining more in an interview with Joy Business.
Every institution, everybody who is into business, every financial sector, players must be interested in reporting because that's the way to go. Climate financing is drying, and people are getting more sensitive to the kind of reporting that we do. We demand that people should get interested in coming up with qualitative reporting, transparent reporting, reporting that will bring some amount of confidence to people who invest and even people who finance climate change. Okay, so all these things are very critical for us, and that's the way to go.
Chief Executive of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Kwesi Ajiman, highlighted the need for organizations to make efforts in embarking on climate change and sustainability, as the country has taken a giant step through the creation of such a ministry.
Having the whole minister with us and then adding whatever it takes for us to go ahead with the sustainability reporting here in Ghana is very, very commendable, and we really appreciate the president setting up a whole ministry in charge of sustainability here in Ghana. We are here and ensuring that we apply the standards as an institute, as a profession. We know the issues of sustainability impacting our ecosystem, our forests, our water bodies, everything. It is not the institute that would have to ensure that we correct all these. But through the standards, through the reporting standards, we would have to get institutions companies, corporate entities to go through these standards and ensure that they are reporting their activities as far as climate issues, sustainability issues are concerned.
The forum was under the theme Driving Sustainable Value Through Reporting, Transparency, Accountability and Inclusive Growth.
Today with me, James Ishen. Up next, sports. Hello and welcome to the Midday Sports with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. The Ghana Football Association has launched a new insurance policy for referees at its headquarters in Accra yesterday. My colleague Penti Jijo has more in this report.
At the launch of the insurance policy for referees in the Ghana Premier League, Division 1 League and the Women's Premier League, Jerry Kwame Hodasi, the Senior Manager of Business Development at Enterprise Life Insurance Ghana, outlined the benefits referees will receive under the partnership with the Ghana Football Association.
Our policy, therefore, provides cover such that in the event where we lose our referees, some significant amount is made available for the family of the referee. Secondly, as we live as human beings, we are also subject to all sorts of illnesses that sometimes may lead to death. We call them critical illnesses in insurance. These are diseases that are near-death experiences, things such as stroke, heart failure, respiratory issues, etc. This cover, again, provides some support for you should you be diagnosed with any of those critical illnesses. Thirdly, is the issue of accidents or permanent disability, which are called, where you sometimes, by virtue of your work, or by every day, just by living life, you are subject to some form of accidents that may leave you permanently disabled, such that you are unable to carry out the task for which you've been trained to do, meaning that you cannot run back and forth on the field.
Also speaking at the launch, the president of the Ghana Football Association, Mr. Simon Ket Okreku, said the initiative fulfills a promise he made at GFA Congress. He added that the policy is designed to ensure that no referee or their family suffers undue hardship in the line of duty.
But deliberate steps to elevate referee welfare, strengthen officiating standards, and provide the necessary protection and motivation for the men and women who uphold the integrity of our game. I'm sure all of us were either physically at the Congress or you were at the Congress virtually, and therefore you didn't miss any of the words that I used that day. This morning, it gives me great pride to stand before you and to announce the official launch of the GFA insurance policy for our match officials who officiate our games in the Premier League, which is the GPL, the Women's Premier League, and the National Men's Division 1 League.
To some Champions League now after an emphatic 3-0 victory for Chelsea yesterday against Barcelona at Stamford Bridge. Another London club, Arsenal, will be hoping to impress as they take on German giants Bayern Munich tonight at the Allianz Arena. Head coach Mikel Arteta believes tonight's clash is a prime opportunity for his side to showcase their quality.
To win it, we made a really good preparation again, a really show one, but I think very efficient as well. We know the importance of the match. We are in a really strong position. We want to maintain that for sure. And we know that we have a beautiful and very demanding game ahead of us. This is the kind of game in the competition that we want to face, and we've been very consistent in both competitions, as you mentioned. They've been as well. Well, every opponent brings different challenges. Obviously, they are in a great moment. I mean, the level of consistency they're showing in results, performances, in every metric that they have, is very, very impressive. We know that, but as well, that's a massive opportunity as well for us to show what we are capable of. I do, because the priority is for the team to be as efficient as possible and to win football matches as a priority number one. And then we're going to have to deal with those situations. Players are going to have to merit to play, and the higher the standards each individual puts in, the higher the level of the team is going to be. So we're going to have to live with that in a really positive way, because it's something extraordinary for the team.
And that's how I wrap up the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapamakwa. Shola Adeyemi is up next with Showbiz.
Thank you for staying. It's time now for Showbiz, where I bring you all the news happening in and around the world of entertainment. Of course, I am Shola Adeyemi. Let's get into our stories. Now, Buchi Franklin, one of Nollywood's rising forces on the global stage, has gained international attention with his breakout role in Netflix's hit series, To Kill a Monkey. Now, the Nigerian actor brought his star power to the 2025 EMY Africa Awards, where he spoke about recognition, collaboration, and the growing influence of African storytelling. Take a look at this.
Franklin attended the 2025 Emmy Africa Awards in Accra. With a career spanning multiple films and series, he has steadily built a name for himself in Nollywood. His breakout in Netflix To Kill a Monkey, which landed him the popular name Brotherly, has brought him global recognition, opening doors to new opportunities and recognition.
If you know president, press their neck.
Reflecting on his journey, Franklin described the unpredictable nature of an actor's career, where one project can change everything.
It's the perks of what we do, you know. You keep creating characters and jumping on. And when a project like To Kill a Monkey, project like The Waiter comes your way, and numerous projects that I have done, or The Weekend, I was the first Nigerian film to be picked by Tribeca. I think either the first or the second film to be picked by Tribeca also in Africa. It's just been, in one word, humbling.
He praised the collaboration between Nigerian and Guinean actors, saying working across African film industries has been exciting and rewarding.
There's a strong similarity between Nigerians and Guineans, you know. We're bubbly people, we know how to enjoy life, you know. And I'm talking about my brother James Gardner, you know, my big brother Majid Michael, you know. I've worked on different projects with these men, and it's just been exceptional to work with. And I think myself and Majid are working on another project for next year, pretty big.
On the Emmy Africa Awards, Franklin commended the platform for celebrating excellence across entertainment, business, and innovation. He expressed hope that the awards will continue to grow, creating even more opportunities for African talent.
My mission and vision is to create a borderless Africa, you know, of course through content. And that's why we're intentional. I am intentional with the projects that I pick, you know. And I feel like this platform, they've been intentional from inception. And I pray to see an even bigger, grandeur space, you know, with my colleagues from different parts of Africa being celebrated. You know, I hope to see a complete shutdown.
For Buchi Franklin, the night highlighted growth, recognition, and the power of African storytelling on the global stage.
Well, and that's how we wrap up Showbiz. I am Shola Adeyemi. MFI Desi, I know that you're waiting for today's questions. So when I say brotherly, do you know where brotherly is coming from? Do you know who brotherly is? To Kill a Monkey. Thank you. Stop hiring foreign lawyers at the back there.
It's in the movie.
It's in the movie. Buchi Franklin is known as brotherly, you know.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's how we wrap up the news today. I'm MFA Kotiadeti. Thank you so much for watching the news. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com.
Sister Lee.